I strongly believe this looks like the calm before the storm. Now, we all know the storm might not only something positive in the sense of, hey, we're going to the moon because that is definitely where this stock is headed to. But it can also mean that, well, this might also be the storm, the calm before we go back down. But let me share with you few info based on what happened today, based on what I see the market going, which can potentially lead to either it's going to be upwards or downwards. All right, let's keep it raw. All right, so the first thing that I'm seeing now is, hey, we have to talk about these people. What happened today? Like literally, what happened today and what is still happening after hours. So this is AMC stock charts. We reached 26. And if you kind of look, and you compare what was happening with GameStop, what was happening with COS, what was happening with Bed Bath and Beyond, you just cannot, miss it by connecting the dots, folks. Bed Bath and Beyond was at it again today, 80% after being up yesterday, almost 30%. Today, at some point, it reached 80% from the 15s at the opening all the way to the 28 and some change, almost 29 during the first half of the trading session. 80% on a day. So this is also considered a meme stocks, right? And ultimately, like GameStop, AMC had to follow, and that's how AMC was up almost 6.5%, 7% on the day. Same thing with GameStop, that was I think at some point the 15 or the 13%, but they managed to kind of suppress it. Not much the Bed Bath and Beyond, but if you look at AMC, you look at GameStop, they were far from the highs of the intraday session. Now, this is telling me that, well, the volume is still there. The volume is there. When you look at Bed Bath and Beyond, the volume is actually one of the reasons why this is soaring, and this is clearly a short squeeze. We kind of talked about this a couple of days ago, and this is expected. This is expected based on where the market is going. All right, and that will ultimately feed the theory and the theory and expectations of this on the brink of also breaking out. Because remember, AMC, I don't want to use the term is the king, but AMC is definitely one of the most or the favorite, or the leaders when it comes to what they call the memes, just because of the amount of people still holding and still buying. But for some reason, these guys don't want this to break out. Why? Because when it does, it might be the end of everything. Maybe the mother of all short squeezes as we was expecting it for some time now. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now, if you look at this, this is something that, I can't help but also connect it to what is actually happening here. So it's the time now what we have all the 13F filings coming out. The 13F filings are those documents that all of these companies that are, either brokers, investment funds, investment banks, whenever they buy stocks, whenever they sell stocks, the 13F will give us exactly what they did for the last quarter. All right. So this is as June 30th, the 13F activity for Susquehanna International Group. This is a major short seller into the AMC stock and the meme stocks, as I should say. Now, the market value has decreased significantly. It used to be around almost $580 billion, and now it decreased to $404 billion. They purchased 1809 stocks and additional purchase of 4,900 stocks, and they sold out almost 2,000 stocks. Now, if you also add to this the 13F from Citadel, Susquehanna and BlackRock, you can also see that we have a net drop of 31%. A net drop of 31% from Q1 to Q2. Now, this may not necessarily mean that they are in the red in terms of profit and loss, just because this is just what we call the market value. So it's not because the market value has decreased that it means they've lost money. They could have sold they could have decreased the market value and made some gains, or just reduced the position size just because they want to have some cash sitting on the sidelines. All right. So nobody can tell exactly whether this also translates into a huge 31% loss in cash money, like in the profit and loss, like gain, all right, or losses. Nevertheless, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a loss, just because we also had some, rumors around Susquehanna being margin called for an amount of around $48 billion. All right. So if that's the case, then yeah, what we're seeing here with Bed Bath & Beyond, what we're seeing here with AMC is kind of fueling the theory that this might definitely be the calm before the storm. Because for AMC specifically, I mean, things are about to go down, because we have August 19, APE unit to be distributed, and then we have APE starting to trade on August 22. As things look like now, the high chances that there are scrapping for shares. There might be the buyers willing to position themselves before things start to go crazy. And by crazy, I mean maybe doubling from here, or people starting to get their hands on the AMC shares just because they need it to start covering, and they want to get as much AMC to get also some APEs, because they can cover the APEs. Those APEs will ultimately be disclosed and distributed to only people that have AMC shares. So that is also another strategy that may work not in the favor of the shorts. And that's why I think with where the market is going, especially as things are not as bad as they wanted us to think they were. When you look at earnings from Walmart and Home Depot and Target, things are not as bad, because again, this inflation cooling off might be the beginning of a new bull market. So whenever we have bull market, it means shorts are screwed. But those in AMC and GameStop and all of these meme stocks might be even 10x screwed. That's why we're seeing what we're seeing now. So, I mean, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm also prepared for the worst. So I think this is the brink of something good happening. But I mean, until it happens, we can't know for sure. That's just how things are with this game. So we just have to wait a little bit longer, or a little bit more.